All right, we live.
We are live.
Apologies, family, on the technical difficulties, but we are here, and I got my man Flight Madness in the building.
Hey,
What is good?
good
What is
morning, everybody.
good? What time is it over there, man?
Bro, it's like 1:20 a.m. It's technically already Wednesday.
Oh, okay. All right, so you
Mhm.
over there in Asia?
Yes, sir. Located in China, the southern part of China, where the pandas are. For you guys who don't know. Oh, if you like Kung Pao chicken, Kung
Mm,
Pao chicken, I'm in the place where Kung Pao chicken, like I think the original Kung Pao chicken comes from. So I'm in the Sichuan province, and the Kung Pao chicken here is amazing.
nice. So, would you say that you kind of more so in like a major city out there, or is it more kind of like suburban or something? What's your
So
tag?
China has developed a lot over the past few years. So China, the cities have tiers. Like you got first tier, that's like Shanghai, Beijing. Second tier, my city used to be second tier, but I think now it's pretty much moved up to first tier because the city has developed a lot. So basically, I'm in a big city, and it's great here. I've been here for like 8 years now, and it's still good here. So I think I might stay.
Okay. And are you pretty much like the only brother out there? Or you see any other black folks out there? Or you kind of out there dolo?
There's not really many Black Americans in my city. There's maybe more who are coming because I've been posting a lot of videos, so I
Okay.
get a lot of comments. I get a lot of comments from Black guys saying, "Hey, man, I'm going to come to that city." So hopefully, over time, there's going to be more. But I could probably count on like two hands, the amount of Black Americans here. There's a lot of African guys here, tons of African guys. But in terms of Black American people, I don't meet many when I'm out in the streets. It's very rare.
Okay. So when you like run into the African guys, is it more like a, hey, we all black thing, or it's just like, oh, Black American, get the hell on type of shit?
I mean, I don't feel any. I don't think it's definitely not like we're brothers kind of thing. I don't think they view us that way. Um,
Mm, okay.
I don't think they view us as the same. Like, you might get dap people up, like I have African friends, like in terms of like Black African friends.
Okay.
But it's still it's not the same closeness that I have like with other Black American guys I've met.
Okay. Now, when let's say you introduce yourself to like a Asian woman or something, you're talking to her, is there like a difference how they look at you if you're from America versus from Africa, or is it the same?
Probably because America has a lot of positive associations. So here's the thing that people don't understand. So China is very competitive towards America. Like they want to be better than America, but they still look up to America. So it's like you have status as an American. They're looking up to you.
Mhm.
But when it comes to African people don't have the same positive associations that Americans have. So Chinese people, I feel like they look down on African people because they say, "Oh, Africa's poor." Some of the people, like the African guys, they come over to China. They got caught selling drugs. It's like lower status. Like America's like high. America and like European countries are considered higher status. And there's many
Okay.
reasons for that. There's many reasons we could probably go into about that, but that seems to be the lay of the land.
Now, you being an American, we know that China and America doesn't have the best relationship, even though they might look at you as a little differently than an African. Does that have any type of effect that they are competitive and hey, you're American, or they kind of might look at you like not necessarily the enemy, but it's like, okay, look at the American over there, that type of vibe, or
Yeah, so this was really big during the Trump presidency. Like
okay.
a lot of Chinese people really started to hate America and hate a lot of stuff about America during the Trump times. So like during that time, I used to be a painter. You see the paintings on the wall. I used to sell paintings in China. I was a painter, so I would meet with Chinese people and I do business with them and try to sell them some art, And like during conversation,
you're a bodybuilding painter.
yeah. I've gone through a lot of evolutions during my time here in China. First selling paintings, now selling travel bags and helping guys get into English teaching. But yeah, definitely there was a lot of like just the word American. I was really careful when I met people. I figured this out. The word America, if you say it to like a older Chinese person, like a person who's like over a certain age, like maybe kind of maybe conservative, like they're like maybe in their 40s or higher, the word America just has negative connotations. So I would never say like I'm American. I would say I'm from this state in America, like I say Texas or something. And Texas, where's that? Oh, America. I learned that has like a better. It's like not as harsh as America because in China, like the media, they kind of they paint America as like the enemy. So I would always kind of lead into it kind of indirectly. Yeah, but with girls though, when I'm talking to girls though, saying America is fine. But if you're talking to like a Chinese guy or like an older Chinese guy who's like maybe more conservative, maybe indirect.
Okay. So you mentioned about the women out there. Now, when you see the Africans, are they intermarrying with Chinese women, or are they kind of just dating their own women and living in China?
I rarely see African guys dating African women. This is crazy. I just noticed this. Like I was at the club like 2 nights ago. I was there a Saturday night. There's a lot of white guys dating African women. It's like
in China?
Yeah, because there are a lot of like African women here recently. I mean, I just noticed at the club, I was like, there's one white guy with like a super thick African woman. Then I noticed another white guy with like a super thick African woman. And I'm starting to see a pattern here. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe the guys who are familiar with Africa, you can let me know what's going on. I think I know what's going on, but I don't want to make any assumptions, but that's just something I noticed when I was out at the club. I was like, dang, like, these white guys getting these super thick, crazy thick African women. Like, I don't know what's going on here, but yeah. What's the question? I forgot the question.
No, so do you see African guys more so with the Chinese women, or?
Yeah, because like, the African guys who come here, I think a lot of them are in a situation where they want to stay in China long term. And if you're going to stay in China long term, a lot of these other countries, here's what a lot of guys don't understand. Even though China and America don't have the best relationship, the visa options that China gives to us Americans is probably some of the best visa options. Like one of my clients, I do consultations for guys who are interested in China and English teaching and dating Chinese girls. And one of my clients, he's getting ready to come to China. Like him and I, we're going to do a tour together. I'm going to be his tour guide while he's here in China. And basically, he's going to get the 10-year China visa. China offers a 10-year visa for Americans. So that means like you pay the fee and you can like stay here for like 10 years. It's crazy. So for guys who are looking to live overseas, the visa is a gigantic pain in the butt in many countries. Like getting that visa situation is a pain. So the fact that it's a shame. Like Thailand is an amazing place, but that's the reason they make it difficult. They make it difficult because they know so many people love Thailand, so they make the price to stay in Thailand super expensive and not really convenient, So
okay.
Yeah. And they need, I guess they need to persuade Americans. Cause a lot of Americans, people think I'm crazy for living in China. Like people think they think I'm like working for the Chinese government. They think I'm like my brain is being controlled by China or something. Basically, a lot of Americans are afraid of China. So in order for China to entice Americans to come over here and spend their money, China makes the visa really, really easy for us Americans.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Now, when you say the African men out there are dating the Chinese women, would you consider these women that you normally see them with, they would be, I guess you want to say, top selection, or in their prime? Are they getting the top tier women, or are they getting kind of like the women that the Chinese men don't?
I gotta state this first, guys. The women that we find attractive as black men and as foreigners is usually very different than the types of women that Chinese guys find attractive. Like,
Okay.
for you guys, I've been living in Asia for like 10 years now. So I'm telling you, I've seen literally thousands and thousands of Asian women. My taste in women is a lot higher now than it was 10 years ago. Like, there are women who I was like really, who I thought were so amazing my first year in China. When I first came to China, like, man, that girl is hot. Then a few years later, after I've dated like a lot of women and I've seen like thousands of women, I see that same girl. I'm like, ugh, I can't believe I thought she was hot. And I can't believe I was attracted to her. So like, after you've been in Asia for a long time, your standards get higher. So the types of women that I see guys dating, it's pretty obvious that a lot of these guys are kind of fresh off the airplane. Like, they don't have a lot of experience with Asian women. So I guess, like, you've seen that. Like, you see guys, they post photos of their girl in the Passportbros group, and they get roasted by so many people. Like, they go, man, I got these hot chicks, man, the women all over me. Then they post a picture of the women they got, and the women is like, not top grade, not top quality by many people's standards, and they get roasted. That's what happens when you fresh off the boat. But basically, anyway, I'll say no. And I say, in terms of like what is beautiful in China, if we're talking about Chinese standards of beauty, most foreigners cannot get above a 7 in terms of China. Like, I've never seen any foreigners successfully dating a Chinese 9. A Chinese 9 out of 10.
Okay, hold on, Danny. So what about the white guys?
I'm talking everybody.
Okay.
It's like, here's what guys got to understand. When a woman is like an 8 or higher in her society, she literally has access to an infinite amount of money. In a country like China, that's true. Like, a girl who's like an 8 or higher, she literally has millionaires and probably maybe 1 or 2 billionaires chasing after her, offering to marry her.
Right.
That's what happens
doesn't China have like a population problem with too many men and women there as well?
That's not an issue at all, man. That's like in my city, there's no shortage of women. I'm telling you that. In the big cities, there's no shortage of women. All those men who are counted in like the extra population, those guys are out in the farmland, so they don't really count. They're not really competition, So there's plenty of women to go around, guys. But yeah, basically, the types of women that foreigners we find attractive is different from what Chinese people consider beautiful. So the types of women that us foreigners are dating are usually 7 and below if we're talking about Chinese beauty standards. They might be like an 8 by our Western beauty standards, but by Chinese or by Asian beauty standards, I almost never see a foreigner, like white, black, Arabic, whatever. I rarely see a foreigner dating above a 7.
Okay, now, so you're talking about specifically China, but you've been all over Asia. So
yeah.
would this apply to all over Asia or just China?
This applies pretty far. I would say it seems like in Thailand, you have more access to women who are like maybe around 8 or higher. But it's like I've never seen like in my 10 years in Asia, like it's like a very rare, like the foreigner, like even like a really handsome guy, like really handsome, whatever skin tone, whatever race, it's you don't really have access to like a real like a local nine, because those women, they have everything already given to them by local men. So it's like if those women have everything, they're not going to be interested in like dating a foreigner to like you know yeah, it's just like it's too much work, it's just easier for her to date like a local rich guy than to try to like date a foreigner and have to learn his language, his culture. So pretty much nobody gets nines. Nobody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We got 109 in the room. Guys, do me a favor, hit that like button. We in here heavy. We in heavy today. Got my man Danny from Flight Manager here. Xavier Lancaster in the building. What up, Xavier? Says, never forget, black men are desired the world over. White men are preferred. Okay. Shout out to Global Free Agent. Says, don't worry about that. Most women are 5, 6, and 7s. Forget the 9 and the 10 nonsense. Global Free Agent must be an OG. That's like an OG call right there. Shout out to the Real CP Show. He says, just in the cash out, man. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Now, Danny, so you've been all around Asia. Now, there is this thing, I think QB mentioned it on the last live I did. Would you say from what you've seen, I don't speak on what I've seen, in some of these cities, right? Some of these cities, would you say that we talking about black men? Are they dating traditional women really? Or are so they just kind of taking the, I don't want to say, I want to be very politically correct about this. Are they taking the women that are so desired by the local men and even the white men to a certain?
Yeah, I mean, so when I say foreigners, I mean white, black, everybody. Like, here's the thing, guys. It's not about being white. So here's the thing. Let me tell you this. I have friends who've been in China for like longer than I have. Maybe like I've been in China about 9 years. I have friends who've been here maybe 12, 15 years. They tell me the stories of like back then, back in China, like 15 years ago, you could be like a normal looking white guy. A normal looking white guy. You walk into the nightclub, and at the end of the night, you're walking out with a girlfriend. Like just being a normal white guy, you could like walk into the club and you're gonna get chosen and you can walk out with a girlfriend. That's how China was 12, 15 years ago. It's not like that anymore, guys. The thing is that in these Asian countries, women have a lot more access to foreign media. So Instagram, movies, etc. They know what a handsome white guy looks like. So they know the difference between a handsome white guy and like a normal white guy. So in the past, a normal white guy could get some hot chicks just because he was white. It doesn't really work that way now in most major cities in Asia. Like I see white guys walking around with busted women all the time. It's like, now if he's like a handsome white guy can do pretty well. But it's because he's handsome. Is handsome and white. It's not just white. If he was just white, he might not. The types of women he would get is probably not women that I'd want to date. But when I see like a handsome white guy, okay, those guys can do pretty well with women. But it's because he's handsome. Handsome, okay. Even handsome guys of any race, handsome, tall, whatever. It has to be something, like two things. But in terms of like traditional women, when I first came to Asia, I was like all these other guys too. Like I wanted like a virginal woman. I wanted like I think guys think you want a virgin. Like you think you want to get a girl who's like never been touched by another man before. And I've had that before, but they can be pretty annoying, like dealing with virgins. I think guys.
When I mean traditional wife, I'm not talking about that. That's the Middle Eastern shit. I'm talking about cooking, cleaning, a woman of work that will actually be an asset to you, not a liability. That's what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah, you can get that. The thing is that it depends.
No.
Like a lot.
I'm not saying if you can't get it. I'm saying, are you seeing the guys with women like that, in your opinion, or are you seeing the guys with girls of the night and party girls, basically girls that you know? I'll give you a prime example. I look at a YouTube video and I see the same girl in like 7 videos, right? So it makes the guys who kind of like in these groups, they say, wait a minute, that's the same girl that was in that video. She's in this YouTuber's video. It kind of makes it look a little sketchy, and now it gets the rumor mill starting that, hey, these guys are just full of it. They're not really dating. These passport bros, quote unquote, they're not really dating these traditional women like they say they are. They're just dating party girls, and they put it on their YouTube channels for views.
Yeah, Pattaya has a really bad reputation for that. We're not gonna name any names, but like basically,
yeah, I won't even name the city. Go ahead.
but yeah, it's crazy when I look at my friends who are in Pattaya and I look at the photos they post. I see like the same girl and like different people's photos. I'm like, I saw that girl when I was walking down Soy 6 and she was all over me, and now I see her in my friend's photo, and now I see her on YouTube in another guy's video. So
Right.
what's going on here? Like, it's like Illuminati. It's like a pyramid, right? It's like, what's going on here? But basically, most men who are fresh off the boat, they're kind of thirsty, like they're hungry, man. Like they're hungry. They want some fresh meat. They've been starving in America. So, the women who they're gonna meet are the women who speak English and who tend to date foreigners. So these guys are really, they might not care. They might, a lot of these guys, they're just here for the weekend. They're here for a week. So they trying to get it out of their system, if you know what I mean. But basically, if you want a traditional woman, you have to kind of be able to stay there long term and be able to provide for her. So in order to do that, you need to have like a stable foundation. Most guys don't really have a stable foundation. Like even here in China, a lot of these guys, their money situation isn't. They can't afford a traditional woman. Like if it's traditional woman,
okay,
that means, well, I guess you don't want her to work, so you want her to stay home and like cook and clean, take care of the house. Well, you got to be able to afford that. A lot of these guys might not have a stable financial situation that can allow them that kind of setup. So yeah, they're gonna get the party girls, the girls who've been ran through, girls with that body count. But yeah, that's my take on it.
Okay. Shout out to my man Andre from Andre and Andrea Love Crossing Boy for 10 mil. I really appreciate that. He has a question. He asked you, what does an Asian 9 look like, and what should she be a 9? And would she be a 9 to the rest of the world?
Here's one thing I wanted to bring up. I was gonna make a post about this. You got a lot of YouTubers now who are using like AI thumbnails. They're using like AI pictures in the thumbnails. So it's like, I was in the Philippines recently and I was not very satisfied with my choices of women in the Philippines. Like I did not see my type of women walking around. Now, there are beautiful women. Like I don't want to say beautiful, because for me, what I care about the body. I like a curvy girl. So I like girls who are in shape and like nice gym body. I didn't see that in the Philippines. Now they might be beautiful face, but the body was not what I wanted it to be for a large percentage of women. So, but when you look at these YouTubers, their thumbnails, like if you look at a lot of these YouTubers, like the Philippines, they use the AI thumbnails. That's kind of what a 9 will look like. That is not walking around in like the Philippines. You can see that in like China. You can see that in Japan, Korea. You can see a lot of those in Japan, China, Korea, even Thailand. But in some of these other places, that's more rare. So if you want to see what a 9 looks like, just basically type in like beautiful Asian woman into Mid-Journey, and it'll probably spit out a picture of a woman who is probably an objective 8+ at least.
You know what's interesting, man? What I recognize about and I'm gonna just say this about Asia in general. It's because I came from Brazil, right? And when I first got, I'm not gonna be honest with the audience. When I first got to Thailand, I was mad as hell at my boy Jock. I was just like, yo, you told me they were this, that, and the other. You told me they were donks and booties. And I'm like, what is all this, bro? He's like, man, you tripping. I'm like, all right. So I might have been the opposite of you. It had to really grow on me a little bit. You know, I'm from the South. I'm from Atlanta. I just went from Colombia to Brazil. Now I'm in Thailand, and I never really, you know. So it was an adjustment. But I think what really helped it was the attitude or lack thereof, like their personality, their willingness to kind of work with you and everything. And then you kind of see the beauty a little bit differently. Then I call it now. I'm kind of more on the Asian standard, beauty standard than I was in South America, where I think in South America they got the most beautiful women in the world. I mean, America got North America got, of course, gorgeous women everywhere, but South America just got the exoticness. Like you will see a chick jet black with long silky hair, like what you would put in the AI of what most men consider to be exotic and beautiful. You will find that in Brazil and Colombia. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because everybody just mixed out there, right? So you got all these exotic looking women with the bodies and the faces and the hair. You know, that's why it's so damn violent. You know, that's why it's like that. Because it's like, look at all these people been walking around, and it's a lack of resources. So you're absolutely right, man. I look at it like this. I gave my guy a ratio. I said, okay, in Brazil, it's about 8 out of 10 bags, hands down. Colombia, it might be 9 out of 10. You rarely see a woman that's not attractive in anywhere in Colombia. They all beautiful, unique in their own way. I would say in Asia, I'm not gonna say that particular country, it might be 3 out of 10. For what black guys mostly like. I'm not talking about this, talking about not that, because like you said before, brothers are looking for, and that's what helps us out a lot. I noticed that usually when we get the women that are, you know, I would say above standard, that's just not out in the streets like that, they what we like. So they might have a nice little bump in the back. I remember dating an Asian chick, bro, and she didn't even know that, you know, she had the dunk in the back. She thought it was like unattractive. I'm like, nah, brothers like that, you know? So it's one of those situations as well. Let me catch a super chat real quick. I got Dehan 219 with the 5 super chat, man. I really appreciate that. Excuse me. He said his talking points about China 9 and 10s can apply for the states or other countries. Athletes in states get all the 9s in the 10s. Would you agree with
that? I see what athletes are dating. I'm really shocked. Like it seems like they all date kind of the same women. It's like I was thinking about this the other day. There's just like that female girl, like female rapper Ice Spice. She made that song Munch, and it's like there was some NBA player who bought her like crazy, dropped some crazy bags on her. So like it kind of makes me wonder, like, are athletes actually getting these women? Like, you know, like I don't know. But yeah, I don't think so, man. I mean, maybe like if they got game, like if you're a good-looking rich guy and you got game, then yeah, you should have access to the top women, especially if you're like an athlete. You should, but you know, we know the world it doesn't really operate off should. So I don't keep up with the athletes. Maybe they are, you know, like maybe they are like getting top quality women, but it doesn't really seem that way. It seems like a lot of these rappers and athletes, they're dating the same 5 women who've been ran through. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I never understood that logic. But you know what? That logic applies to some of the Passport Bros too. It really does. Now, I'd be like, why would you go after this same girl that Buddy was with that had this? You know, it's just like, okay, it's a lot of women out here. Why would you want to go? But dudes have this thing where you just got guys that do shit like that, man. Like you would be surprised, especially when you out there like that. I've had women hit me up and be like, hey, do you know this guy? And I'm like, yeah, he in the group, or he on YouTube. And he's like, oh, he tried to holler at me on Instagram. You know, I'm like, wow. You know, so you do have that. But I got a question about my man, the Real CP Show. He says, what did you see in Asian travels, BMT, about seeing black men or males with fine-looking women? What I saw, I'll be honest with you, I saw women that I typically wouldn't date. And I just kind of contributed to that dudes just like dating women that are of a different race. That's how I looked at it. I said, okay, he must just want an Asian chick. Like he, because to me, I'm like, wow, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? And then she got a history. So I'm just sitting here like, why would you do that? And me and a couple, me and probably one other guy used to kind of be looking at some of these guys in Pathia, kind of like, really, bro? Like it was just that, like no judging here, but like, because my standard is gonna be my standard worldwide. I don't care if she's from Madagascar or something. She still got to be a certain standard for me. I don't care if she's an Eskimo or something. If she's this beautiful exotic Eskimo. If she doesn't meet what I like, I'm not going to be in a relationship with her. That's just me. That's just me.
Yeah.
So that's I saw a lot of guys that were kind of like they were just kind of just doing it, I guess, for the exoticness of it or something.
Yeah. I kind of get that. Like for me, I find Asian women pretty attractive. So I'm more willing to date a wider range of like body types for Asian women compared to other races of women. So like for me, if I'm going to date a Russian girl, that Russian girl needs to be really, really beautiful. I'm not interested in like even like kind of average and but for an Asian girl, if she's slightly above average, good body, I'm okay with it for the most part. But other types of women is like I have higher standards when it comes to certain other types of women. But for Asian women, I can be a little bit more flexible. But they got to be, even when I'm flexible, it's still pretty high standard. I don't really drop the bar too low,
Okay. I got another super chat by my man Andre and Nigeria Love Crossing Borders. With the 10 mil. I appreciate that once again, my brother. I Googled it and found the most famous and beautiful Asian women have pretty faces, but no breasts and small curves. Maybe I'm spoiled here in Colombia. Yeah, you at the top tier of beauty in the world, Andre. I'm just telling you that now. But I will say this: Asia definitely has what you're looking for. You just got to be there for a while.
Yeah, man.
You got some, and the cool thing about the Asian women is, like we said before, what we're looking for is not what the standard Asian guys looking for, or even white guys in some cases is looking for. Even though white guys like women with ass too nowadays, but you will find this beautiful brown-skinned chick, Cambodian chick or something that's gorgeous, and out there she would be considered to be a 4 or 5. In your eyes, in our standard, she's a 7 to 8. Because the thing about it is, from what I noticed out there, is the darker skin is supposed to not be, I guess, the standard of beauty. But you got a lot of dark-skinned Asians, especially in Thailand and Cambodia. They are just kind of like, you'll never see them on TV. They're not really represented. And they still look at themselves as just regular Asians. It's just that they're the darker hue of Asian, right? So a lot of times you got women that, I'm talking about your complexion, my complexion, that just think they're not attractive.
Yeah, and this is a really good point, guys. One of the reasons that I think foreign women have this reputation of being like submissive and all this other stuff is because us foreigners, we're not going for like the top tier. We're going for the women who kind of maybe don't have so many options. Trust me, guys. If you're going for like a 9, like a 9 who has millionaires chasing after her, she is not going to be happy washing your dirty underwear and cleaning up after you and being your maid. A 9, especially a 9 from like a developed country, that she's probably not going to be doing that. You're not going to get that kind of king treatment from a 9. The things you're going to get from a 9 are headaches and like probably losing tons of money because she expects you to spend tons of money on her. That's probably what you're going to get. But yeah, basically, in terms of curvy women, I have a lot of good luck finding curvy Asian women. I'm really good at that these days. Really, the women who are like the good curvy, like the nice shape, they go to the gym and they work out. That's why they have a nice body. Like maybe genetically, she has like more body fat. So genetically, she already has a higher fat ratio. But when she goes to the gym, she tones it up so it looks really nice. Those are the types of women that I like, gym girls who like genetically thick.
Right. They all be at the squat bar. That's the whole
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
It's
Hitting those
it's funny,
lunges.
you know what's so funny? That you can automatically tell which Asian girl is going for the brothers just by the way she got her hair done. You know what I'm saying? Like the way she look. Like
Yeah.
they'll let you know most of the time. It'd be so funny. I'll just be like, okay, obviously this chick like the brothers. Because they be trying to sometimes imitate a culture, which is kind of like weird in a certain sense. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, okay, this chick could probably date any black guy. She just wants a black guy, right? But that can be used as an advantage. If you look at it that way. But
Yeah.
these girls you meet on these dating apps, they remain on these dating apps, right? And in these tourist areas, you're gonna more likely these guys coming to town are gonna match up, right? So it's supposed to be your girl, but yet you got some random dude texting her, like still being active on her Tinder profile, which means she's still kind of in a way looking. This happens all the time. Even though I know it's that part is scripted, but that's one of the things that I feel like happens a lot, in my opinion. Somebody said letting another woman fix your relationship problem. This guy's like a big simp. But one thing I want to ask you, Danny, is that a thing out there in China where when you're dating a woman that it matters a lot what the family says about you? It can like a yay or nay with the family.
Yeah, it matters a lot. It matters a lot. Pretty much when you meet the family, that could kill things. Like if the family doesn't like you. So a lot of girls will kind of wait to like introduce you to their family. They'll wait because they don't want their family getting in. First of all, I'm not in a rush to meet any woman's family because I know that's just going to add more stress and pressure to the relationship. And unless I'm like really super committed to the girl, I'm not interested in meeting the family um, too soon. So for guys who are like looking to play the field, save the family thing for like after you've committed to the girl and you decided you want to have a relationship with her long term. Because meeting the family is basically it's almost like you're saying like, hey, I'm considering this your daughter for marriage. So I'd be careful about doing that.
You know what's funny, man? I was dating this girl in Barranquilla, bro. And I was speaking with her, on the phone for like several months. So I go to Barranquilla, and the very first day, she wants to introduce me to her family. The first day I'm sitting here like, let me just like, okay, it's the first day, I've been flying, you know what I mean? Like, let me just kind of relax. It's a language barrier. Let me just kind of cool out and get my bearings right. So the second day, I go to meet her quote unquote her family, which is really her aunt, right? So I'm in Barranquilla, and I'm in this, her aunt. This is like I didn't meet her parents right away, but it was her aunt, and her aunt, bro, happens to be like this model, this influencer slash model, right? So I'm in this bedroom because it's like a little, I guess you want to call it like a villa. So I'm in this villa, and her aunt starts changing, right? And I'm like, wait a minute. And she's right there on the bed too. And I'm sitting here like, yo, she got a bra on. She's well endowed, like something out of a movie, bro. I'm like, yo, this chick is half ass naked, and she's trying to speak broken English to me. And I'm sitting here looking at her aunt like, wow, this, that, and the other. And she's like, yeah, what's this, that, and the other? Titties all out and shit. I'm just like, wow. So, that's not a good situation in all cases because you don't know what the aunt is on. You don't know if she's trying to get up in there. It's like you're absolutely right. Like let's fill each other out before we just go. But in some cases, overseas, that's just exactly what they do. As soon as possible, they're looking at you in a serious way. They want their family to meet you right away to tell them yay or nay. Is this guy good for her or no? Because overseas, they're not like in America where we do hookup culture. America has a big hookup culture where we meet the girl at Applebee's. Well, I don't know how it is now, but we used to meet the girl at Applebee's, take her out. Either we get some, we don't. We on to the next person on the date now. Now, and that might be changing in some of these countries now because they're kind of catching up to American style of dating. But for the most part, it's I call in-game dating, where you got to meet the family, you got to learn the language, you got to go to church with them, you damn near married, bro. And the family, bro, especially in Colombia, bro, they are only like they really are serious like about this situation. So it's crazy. And another thing, man, I will say, don't let the family take advantage of you too. You know what I mean? Like, don't be one of them nice guys where you're like, oh, your granny needs the surgery. Okay, I'll take care of that for you. Or, oh, your uncle got in a motor accident. Oh, I got you. I see. Like, don't be that guy because they're gonna take full advantage. And that's anywhere. That's anywhere. That's Thailand, Brazil, Colombia, especially the DR. Don't be that guy. Be the guy that say, all right, well, what was you doing before you met me? Seems like you were surviving before you met me, right? It's like your family was doing fine. They're gonna do fine while I'm with you. So
yeah.
Crazy story. We got 160 in the room, guys. Do me a favor and hit that like button for your boy. So I would ask you this though. In closing, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the show. We've been here for about an hour. I know it's getting late over there in China. Just standard wise, all right. From what you've seen, in your personal opinion, are passport bros really getting traditional women overseas, or is it all just kind of a facade for YouTube views and clicks and views?
It definitely seems like the majority of guys, they want that as the end game. They want a traditional woman in the end game. But it seems like they're also having a good time running through the thoughts. They're having a good time going to the club, like getting the easy layups. And really, like when we talk about,
no in the chat, bro.
Yeah, everyone's saying no. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, man, like a lot of guys, like, I'm also gonna say, like, a lot of us black men, I think we go for the easy layup. We don't want to like work. I guess I don't know. Like we go for the easy thing. Like we don't work hard for like the top quality. Because when I see guys posting women, it's guys posting women who like maybe they didn't have to work hard for it. Maybe they just got fresh off the airplane. The girl made it easy for them. And like, she cooks, cleans, does all that, and guys go for that. Guys are definitely getting that, but like, a lot of guys aren't staying overseas long term. Like a lot of guys just going overseas for like maybe a week or two at the most, to a place. So like they aren't gonna find a traditional woman that way, like because they don't have what what are they gonna do with a traditional woman? They're just gonna go through the thoughts. Like they're gonna go to the 808 club and like whatever. They're gonna flex room. They're gonna like go through the girls who've been been around the they've been anointed by the passport bros.
Anointed by the passport bros. That's a good one. I'm gonna start using that as an app. We got post pictures. This is my thing. I gotta keep it $150 with you, man. From what I could tell, from my experiences, especially more so in Thailand, and it can apply in any country. A lot of brothers, in particular, kind of, especially the younger ones, might not know what they're looking for because they never really had experience with a quote unquote decent woman. You know what I'm saying? Like they never, if they mothers wasn't good married types of wholesome women, then they constantly go out looking for more so than love. It's more so validation of their man, basically. So they kind of just go in for whoever kind of accepts them. It's just crazy. And then you got the whole thing with the YouTubers kind of getting with certain types of women for clicks and views. You got that as well. But I will say, if you got your stuff together, if in Asia, it ain't even really about how you go, to be honest with you. That's more so Brazil. But if you got your finances together, bro, and you take your time and you live out there, you can find you what you're looking for to actually cement a real legacy. You don't have to go the lady of the night route. You don't got to go that route. And that's why I'm trying to explain to guys, have some confidence in yourself, bro. Like you can do it. Like just be patient. Like you don't got to get the low hanging fruit necessarily just because she's from a different culture. Like you want to represent all of us well. Now do what you do, but you want to represent us well, right? And what I see, I'm gonna be honest, the white guys get some good looking Asian women. in my opinion. They get some of the top tier. Most times it's going to be like you said, the North Asian guys, the Koreans, the Japanese, the Chinese. They come to Southeast Asia, they're going to get their top tier selection 9 times out of 10. But the white guys too, they're right there. When I'm in Thailand, bro, I see the white guys with my own 2 eyes. They got a bad Thai chick. I don't see brothers have that really. That's why I always tell brothers, I say, if you want a baddie, bro, in a traditional sense, and a good-looking woman, then I think South America and the Caribbean is our playground. That's from my experience. That's what I see. I see the brothers in DR San Domingo, top-tier Dominican women. And that's why you get a lot of little hate, too, from some of the Latino cats. They be like, damn, they hate because we're getting the top tier. But when I go over to Asia, I just be like, yo, you can get top tier, but you got to live there. Like you said, you got to live there. You got to have your shit together. You got to have the money right? Because you're going to have to take care of her. So that's just my opinion. But I would say in closing, guys, have confidence in yourself enough to really get a good woman. You don't have to settle like we do in the States half the time.
Yeah. I just want to be clear. Like, so when we say traditional, that's like a woman who does like the things like men want, cook, clean, whatever. Now, if we're talking about hot women, that's kind of like a different thing for me. It's like, okay, the woman can be traditional, but she might not be hot. Now, if we're talking about like hot women, that's like a different thing, because the advantage that white guys have is that they show up, they have white skin or maybe European features. That's an advantage they have. So like they show up like out the box. They have something that a good number of women will consider attractive. So it's easier for them in that aspect. As a black guy, unless you're like really handsome, tall, or have a good body, you're going to be working harder than just a white guy who just shows up and he has white features. So that's probably one of the reasons why we might see white guys with more attractive women on average, because they don't need the extra stuff that a black guy might need. But there are women who are attracted to black guys, but there's not many black American men who are traveling. They're attracted to black American men, to be specific. So like if you're black American, like there are women who want to date you just because of you and where you come from. They think you're cool. But there's not a lot of us who come over to Asia. So, it's like when I go into the nightclub, I'm the only black American in the nightclub. I'm the only one. I don't see any others out there. I know we're here somewhere, but it's like there's not many of us. But yeah, basically, yeah, as a black person, you do have to work harder than white guys, but you still do have access to beautiful women, especially now because like a lot of women love hip hop. And a lot of women, like just in my city, there's so many hip hop clubs. Like Chinese people freaking love hip hop. So it's like, you kind of have that. Like they love watching, like they see the videos, they think black culture is cool. They grow up watching black guys. It's like, you have that kind of decently positive association that works in your favor. So you guys got to get over here and like, try to do your best. Fashion, gym, learn the language, and you can get some pretty good action over here. Like I'm not complaining, so I'm pretty okay with what I'm getting.
I'm not gonna say the location, but I will say I have been nowhere in the world where I've seen women argue with each other on who you decide to go with outside the club that night. I'm talking about regular women, guys. I'm not talking about working. I'm talking about just a random club. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. I've experienced it. And I'm not going to tell you where. Maybe I tell on the app, right? But in some of these locations in Asia, they are catcalling the brothers. You feel me? That does exist. I will say that. The chocolate man, like that definitely does exist outside of the red light districts as well. You're exotic. You're exotic. And women fetishize the brothers more than probably any other race. Now don't keep in mind the white passport bros, they get it in East Africa. People don't want to admit to it, but they get it in. The women fetishize them there. Wherever you go, where you the opposite, as far as look is concerned, the women are probably going to fetishize you. That's just what it is. But we all know the stigma that black men have, right? We know the stigma and they be hooking for some. You know what? So it's dope, man. I want to give a shout out to Travel Lover with the $99 super chat. Says what countries he been and which has the most baddies. So yeah, what countries you been to in Asia and which countries you think it has? I'm not gonna
So
mention my country, goddamn.
yeah, I lived in South Korea for a year. Been living in China for like 9 years. Philippines, Japan. I think those are the major Asian countries, unless I'm Thailand, Philippines, Japan, South Korea, China. Basically, okay, guys, if you like thick Asian women and women with nice legs and butt, South Korea is probably the best country for that. But here's the thing: South Korean women are considered to be some of the most difficult women to get in Asia. South Korean women are not easy. Like it's not. It's like in other countries, if a woman is like a 6, she's usually easier to get than an 8.
Mm-hmm.
But in South Korea, a 6 is almost basically the same as like an 8 in terms of difficulty to get her. Like South Korean women are really difficult because here's the thing: they grow up. Korean men approach women like I don't see this in many other Asian countries. Korean men will like day game or night game approach women. You'll see a Korean guy go up and he'll like confidently. That's in their culture. So the Korean women, they grow up learning to like kind of deflect male, like a guy trying to approach you. Women in other Asian countries, they usually don't grow up like that unless they're like really, really like a 7, 8 or higher. They don't grow up with that kind of thing. But in South Korea, women are kind of they're being pursued all the time by Korean guys who are decently aggressive, or pretty aggressive actually. So Korean women are actually very difficult to get, but they got really great legs and body and probably the sexiest women in Asia. We're talking about consistently, like consistent 7s and 8s walking down the street in Gangnam. They're not easy to get, but it's like if you talk to 100 of them, maybe you can get one. So go out there and do the math. Like make the math work in your favor.
That's facts. That's facts. I haven't been to South Korea, so I can't disagree with you there. But there are also other spots in Asia where the women have the nice bodies and the nice skin as well. Shout out to my man Andre once again, man. Shout out to you, bro. Andre and Andrea love Carson Boys for the 10 mil. I really appreciate that. He says, correct, Aaron. U.S. quality dudes get quality women when done correctly. That's true. That's very true. You know what I noticed, man? Like overseas, sometimes I don't know, I hate to say the word swag, but sometimes just your aura can attract women of any race, no matter where you are. Right? Like your aura, if you on that Will Smith, Idris Elba shit, tell you, all that shit goes out the window. You're no longer a white or a black. You just that guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like this is right. And so many dudes claim to be that guy, but that guy is the guy that either can communicate extremely well at a super high level with women in general, right? Or he just one of them dudes that had an aura just to walk in the room and the women got to go gaga about it. You know what I'm saying? Some guys, just have that aura about themselves. And there's nothing wrong with that, So that's why I say that. But yeah, if you that guy, you'll do fine anywhere you are. Right? You go beyond race. Hey, somebody gotta put it in the chat. No, I ain't putting it up. I'm blocking you from the chat, brother.
Yeah. So if we're talking about guys by the way, we're talking about getting money, right? We're talking about if you want that traditional woman, you need to have your finances in order. I made a free English teaching guide. I've been doing English teaching for like 10 years, guys. Makes really good money. The market is really crazy. It's really good over here, especially in Asia and in South America, the places where a lot of passport bros like to go. If you're trying to get your money right, English teaching is the way to go. And you can do it online. So, right now I'm making more money from teaching English online than I do from teaching it in person. I think recently I crossed that benchmark. So if you're looking for a way to like one of the fastest ways to get overseas, making money, and traveling, and you have the option to teach English online, go to flightmadness.com/English teaching, download the quick start guide. And if you have any questions, contact me or email me. And yeah, we can have a conversation. But yeah, English teaching, y'all. I've been doing it for a while. It's put some money in your pocket overseas and have you traveling, have a good life. That's what I've been doing for like 10 years now. So I recommend it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the link is pinned to the top of the comment section, guys. So make sure to click that link. I know you guys want to get out the matrix and do something different, man. Go to some other countries, bro. I know a lot of us love Colombia and Brazil. I love Colombia and Brazil myself. I love the Caribbean. But just move around a little bit. I love doing consultations with guys. It's like, hey, man, how's Malaysia? How's Thailand? How's this country? Let's move around a little bit.
Yeah.
But bro, I appreciate you coming on. We always do legendary shows, man. Appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah, man, it's been really good, man. I'm glad I was able to voice some opinions, because I've been making a lot of posts in the Facebook group, and like guys have been battling me and disagreeing with me, and I'm glad I finally had a chance to come over here.
They be coming. I don't know why. They be coming at your neck. I don't know why.
Yeah. It's fine. I mean, I guess I'm very opinionated.
What's the difference between the Facebook group and the actual app, though? Because you know how different it is.
Yeah. The guys on the app are way more like, I guess, consistently higher level travelers. Like the guys who took the step and on the Passportbros app. I post on the app almost every day. I'm probably gonna post again tonight before I go to sleep. I'm about to cut up a YouTube short. If you're on there, you can send me a friend request. I got like a lot of guys sending me friend requests these days. But basically, yeah, the app is where like you kind of build together with guys who are on a higher level, consistently. It's like the select, like the creme de la creme, like the top Passport Bros who are like really about that life and they got their stuff together. The guys are on the app, so you guys need to go download the Passport Bros app.
It's like it's no hating on the app. In the Facebook group, bro, you post something, oh, bro, they have 150 comments. And out of 150, at least 40 will be negative. They'll be like, why you, she ugly. Why you do this? Why you got that blue shirt on? What do you think? Who do you think you are? It's like, bro. And we try to get them out of there, but it's just like, you can't kick everybody out. So, anybody can join the Facebook group, but the actual app is guys that actually travel and actually sharing information and actually, giving each other tips and stuff for making posts, So it's cool, bro. I mean, we got, a free tier on there as well, but just in general, the elite groups that's in there, man, I got a guy, I got an interview, bro. This dude was in Nepal, bro, left America broke and came up overseas, bro. So there are some amazing people who do some amazing. Let me tell you something. In this space, there are some amazing brothers, like dudes who just adventurous, and that's kind of what you're supposed to be. I'm not saying travel broke. I'm just saying in general, you got some guys that can literally have Netflix documentaries about it because they literally just left America and just said, "Hey, I'll figure this shit out." Like I don't know if you saw the brother in there. He was posting with the mountain goats in Nepal and everything. He telling us the story. And I'm like, damn, bro, like that's a Netflix documentary. So you got a lot of stuff going on in that app, man. Shout out to Mr. Calvin. He said the app is the joint. Yeah, the app is dope, bro. The app is dope. All right. We make moves over here. The real Passport Bros, we making moves. All right.
Yeah.
So once again, great show, bro. We out.
All right, man. See ya.
I can't help but to do that with the channel.
I think it's good.
All right, peace, family.
What do you think about passport? What's your opinion? We have a problem with it. And on black women as a reason to go over to take advantage of women who are not financially stable. You go over here to find somebody who's going to treat you like a king.
Download now on the App Store and Google Play.